Hi there! If you're listening to this spot, you might have never heard of Dice Carnival, but you're gonna want to hear about this. Maybe you'll fall in love with Electroval, our musical steampunk audio adventure where a quirky cast of heroes must exhume a conspiracy after being framed for a famous murder. New upload every Tuesday. Or maybe you would fancy our whimsical Wild Beyond the Witchlight campaign that we recorded with our friends at the Homebrew D&D show. We've got plenty of episodes out now, so if you're looking for a compelling story that is guaranteed to intrigue, surprise, and make you laugh, look no further than to search Dice Carnival on your favorite podcasting feed. Hope to see you there. Bye-bye!
Welcome back. This is part 2 of Delta Green. If you haven't watched part 1, there will be spoilers up ahead, but please make sure to go watch part 1 first. This episode is starting off at the cabin. We just got there, and we are about to start exploring and see what spooky things await. I hope you enjoy.
Awesome. We'll just pick it up where we left off. So, you're all off on your way towards the cabin. You travel about 4 hours north. As you look around, you see the landscape change from the city of Chicago to the suburbs to a little bit heavier trees, and you pass the sign that says, "Welcome to Wisconsin." As you keep driving north, you notice that the trees have started to change color, and they're starting to get their reds and their yellows, and as you drive along, it looks very peaceful, and you start to see that the sun is getting a little bit lower in the sky as it's nearing a little bit of later afternoon. As you continue down the road, you then pass through Sheboygan, and then you start to turn off towards the back roads.
Sheboygan.
It is a town in Wisconsin. Start heading back along these dirt roads, and that's when you come up to the cabin. An initial look, it is still a little bit light outside, probably about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. You do see, as you pull up to the cabin, you see that it's surrounded by trees. Decent spacing on them. They're not super close together. It looks like, I don't know, nothing really that would immediately strike you as strange about this cabin. It's dark wood. You do see that there is the cabin in front and center. Looks like there is a shed to the back and to the right. There's also a trail leading down to the back and to the left of the cabin. And is there anything you want to do before you get out of the vehicle?
I don't think so.
Not before I get out of the vehicle, but go ahead.
I think on the way up here, Chris would be researching Clyde's wife.
And I think Cornwell would have noticed what McMurdy was doing in the other apartment, like knocking on all the walls. Like he's realized what his usefulness is, if that makes sense. And he's gonna, McMurdy, why don't you see if there's anything suspicious on the trail?
Sure.
On the trail?
Well, leading up, anything. Because if this guy works for us, then maybe there's some kind of, motion sensor or anything like that.
Oh, definitely. I would be keeping, I was actually going to say something. I would definitely be using my alertness and my security background to look out for anything, like any traps, anything that we might trip on the way in, security systems that he has set up.
Okay, sure. So on your way in, we'll do Chris first. You were the one who was researching, correct, Chris?
Yes.
Okay. So as you look through the obituary, you do see that it's the information about Marlene. Marlene did pass away from cancer. It does talk about how the funeral service was carried out by her loving husband and grandchildren, and there's a picture of her smiling in the newspaper article.
Okay. Chris would relay this to everybody in the car that they're with, and otherwise just play games and keep silent.
Sure. All right. And so on the drive up, what is your percentage in alertness, McMurdy?
60%.
Okay. So with the 60% alertness as you're driving up, nothing that immediately strikes you as off. You don't see any sort of surveillance equipment. There's no tripwires or anything like that. This looks like just a regular dirt road. As you exit the vehicle, you look around. Also no cameras. Nothing immediately that would strike you as having any sort of defense system whatsoever. The only thing that you see on the door is that there is a lock.
Okay, when we pulled up and we start getting out of the car, McMurdy would grab his duffel bag out of the back seat and look to the rest of you and be like, so where should we start?
Is there a cellar?
Do we see cellar doors?
Are you looking around the house?
Sure. Sure.
So an immediate glance from the front of the building, you don't see anything as far as the cellar door goes. The only thing you see at the moment is the front of the cabin. There is a window off to the left and to the right of the door. As you kind of walk a few paces to the left and to the right, you do see the side of the cabin. The only thing you see to the left is the trail that leads down a little ways back. To the right, you do see a shed. But outside of that, no, you don't see anything immediately.
Well, we can check out the shed while we're outside and then go inside.
Okay. Are you all going to go look at the shed, or what are you going to do?
I don't think we all need to go look at the shed. It's probably not that big, right?
I doubt it.
No. It's normal size shed.
Yeah.
I can check the shed if you guys want to start on the house.
Sure. Is that all what you want to do?
Do we want to split up?
Chris is going to stick close to Cornwell.
Yeah.
Out of character, no. In character, yes.
I don't think you should go alone, but I think it might be faster.
If one of you wants to come with.
I can go.
Okay.
Yeah, I doubt there's a computer in the shed, so I won't be there.
Okay. So we have Palmer and McMurdy going to the shed?
Yep.
Okay, fantastic. So we'll say the rest of you go towards the door. We'll say you put the key into the lock and you start to turn it, get ready to go in. For those of you heading to the shed, immediately you don't see any sort of lock on here. There's a latch that is, like a flip latch, so it closes and stays closed. But outside of that, you don't see anything immediately. Are you all opening the shed?
Yes, but just a note, McMurdy's head is on a swivel because there's been so little evidence and so little has actually happened. He feels like that any time now something's about to blow up.
No, given your background, that makes total sense. So you're looking around. I will tell you that to the back of the building, you do see that there is a back door to the cabin. You get a little bit of a better look at that trail that I was mentioning. You see that it goes down and snakes to the left, but it's behind some trees. And then immediately behind you, or pretty much in front of you, that's when you see the woods. Again, not anything strange with them. Just looks like a regular wooded area. There is normal forest floor. There's no beaten paths or anything like that back there. As you open up the shed, or as Lorelei, or either one of you opens up the shed, inside you see that there's a couple tools. There's a splitting axe, and there is some saws. There's a scythe in there too, it looks like, to clear out the weeds or anything else. As you look around in the shed, you do also see something that is a bit strange, which is that there is a large object, but it looks kind of bumpy, and it looks like it has a green canvas military tent thrown over it at the moment.
Oh, so Palmer's just going to do the same ritual she did at the apartment. Takes her shoes off, takes her gloves off, and walks inside.
Sure.
McMurdy would be like, when you go inside, he'd like put his hand out. He wouldn't touch you. He'd put his hand out and be like, let me check out what that is first. Sure.
Are you pulling back the tarp?
Well, yeah, like he said that to her, and then he was kind of waiting because he's not going to push a woman.
Sure. So, I mean, do you want to pull it?
Yeah, no. If she waits for me to go in there, then yeah.
Oh yeah. I get what you
lift up.
Yeah, she'll wait. She's
okay.
She doesn't do the fighty stuff.
Yeah, he'd go in there, look both sides, and then pull up the tarp, see what's under there.
Sure. As you pull up the tarp does have some cobwebs on it and some dust. As you rip it up and over, you do see that the kind of dust settles a little bit around you. As you pull up the tarp, you see red cans. As you start to look a little bit closer and things start to set in your mind, these are all gas cans. There are 15 of them. They are about 1 gallon apiece. They're all closed at the moment.
A lot of gas.
Yeah, I look over at Palmer and I'm like, this is a lot of gas for an old man to have.
1 second. And she's going to step outside of the shed, pull out the non-opened whiskey bottle, take a huge sip out of it, come back in, and touch the gas cans.
Sure. Do you test them? Like, do you try to pick them up too?
Yeah, I'm basically trying to use a cult to see if I can get any memories off of it.
Sure. So with your cult and 80%, the only thing that you get coming off of these, there's no maliciousness. There is a sadness that you feel coming off of these items. Nothing really out of the ordinary, though. These are all full, by the way.
Okay.
They don't look damaged in any way either. They look like they were brand new, filled, and put here.
Is there anything, like, does the ground look like scuffed up, like it's covering something? Like if I wipe away the dust, do I find an edge or a corner?
So, yeah, sure. As you look around in the shed, you start to wipe away the edges and things like that.
Well, specifically under and around the gas can.
Oh, I understand. So as you wipe away over the gas cans, maybe you move a couple of them, it's just ground. It's dirt ground. It doesn't look like there was any special care taken to this. It looks like this was a shed that was built, but the floor is still dirt. There are some pallets and things like that in there that have some items on them, like some tools, but you don't feel anything on the floor.
And you said they were dusty, so they've been here a while.
Yes, the tarp covering them was dusty.
Okay, so after touching it, she kind of gives like a sigh of relief of like, thank God, and then she says, well, not good things happened here, but doesn't look like it's a brain job, so that's good.
Oh, so this isn't our problem.
And I think it's connected. There's sadness in this area.
And when I put the tarp down, do I see any insignia on the tarp, by the way?
No insignias. Just, and I'm just giving this to you because you're having time to look around and everything else like that. No, nothing weird. It looks like it was just a green military tarp. Looks like it's something that's weatherproof.
Shall we meet up with the rest?
What about the trail?
Do you guys want to head to the trail?
We could go check out the trail.
I mean,
sure. So
this guy seems secretive.
Okay, yeah.
As you all start towards the trail, we'll flip back to the other group. You guys unlock the door, and now what would you like to do?
We explode. I will wait for somebody else to go inside first, because I don't trust anything, and I'm not the person to be shot at.
Chris is also waiting.
So are you just all waiting outside of the door, or is somebody going in?
I will say agents first and point to Cornwell.
And Cornwell will go.
Okay, so Cornwell, as you open up the door, you don't immediately get hit in the face with a frying pan or anything like that, or explode. You do, however, get met with this musty smell of old furniture. As you enter into the room, you see off to the left, there are a couple pieces of mismatched furniture. You're guessing that he probably got them from a garage sale or something like that. You know, it's cabin furniture. Nobody's going to look at it except for you. So off to the right, you do see a couple more pieces of furniture. There's a table there as well with a newspaper on it. And then you see the kitchen behind the right side there. There's like a little divider wall, but you can see into it. Immediately apparent in the kitchen, there is a sink at the front. And in the back, you can see that there's a refrigerator and a stove and a couple other items like that. And then in the center of the room, there is a hallway leading back.
Okay. I think the only thing that really piqued his interest was the newspaper. He would go look and see what the date on it was.
Sure. So as you pick up the newspaper, he takes a look at it, and it looks like it is marked for June of this year.
And when is it now?
August.
Is it just... Oh, it's August?
Mm-hmm.
It's not too old. Alright, I will walk in once it's declared safe-ish, and then go in and start looking around for any types of places or hidey holes that something could be kept in.
In the immediate room that you're in, or in the entire cabin?
I'll start with the first room.
Sure. So as you take a look around, what do you have for search?
I have bureaucracy at 50 or search at 40.
I would also, I wouldn't just stay still after. I would start searching as well. I mean, I've got a search of 50, so if I could help out at all, I would.
Or forensics 8.
Yeah, go ahead and both of you roll search. We'll give you plus 10%.
47.
Nope. I got 95.
Okay. So as you take a look around this room, you're looking for anything that's hidden or anything like that. You might move a couple pieces of furniture, but there doesn't appear... The only thing that you really take away from this immediate room is that a lot of this furniture doesn't look like it's been used in a while. It is obviously used because it's old furniture and it's mismatched, but there's not anything apparent. There is a layer of dust and cobwebs on some of the items. The other thing you notice about this room is there's no pictures on the wall. The walls are just bare. Same thing with the kitchen and the hallway leading back to the other rooms. You don't see any pictures.
Okay. The dust and cobwebs, that looks like it's more than 2 months worth of dust, right?
For some of the items, the one couch where the newspaper is, that one does look a little bit more used, but the ones on the other end do not.
So he sits in the same place.
Somebody came here with purpose. They came here, they waited, they left. That's it.
Interesting.
I'd start to search around the area much more where there is less dust.
Sure. So as you take a look around that couch, maybe you pull it up and things like that. The only thing that immediately catches your eye is that there is some cake or some dried up mud underneath the couch. It looks like maybe it was kicked under there or something like that. Outside of that, you don't find anything immediate. There's no other paperwork or anything else in here. It looks like it's just a regular couch. You do find that there's also a broom as you enter into the room on the pretty much where you open up the door. If you were to look immediately to the right, there's a broom leaning against the wall.
Okay, he's going to make note of the mud and wait for Lorelei and McMurdy to come in.
Sure.
Because he thinks that Lorelei would probably have a better chance of knowing something about that, maybe.
Sure. So we'll flash back now to, unless there's anything that Chris or Kamarov would like to do.
No, I'm busy looking and being stuck on the fact that there's no pictures. And I'm just like, but why are there no pictures? And then I think I see a speck of blood and I get super excited and then it's not blood and then I'm sad.
How about you, Chris?
Chris is kind of just following around, searching where they can help, and every once in a while will throw the occasional comment that maybe his wife was part of Delta Green and not him. Very obvious conspiracy theorizing, but probably not true at all. But Chris definitely thinks it is.
Cornwell, if you did say that, Cornwell would start questioning you greatly. Why do you think that? What leads you to believe it? What evidence do you have?
Well, she's been dead, 8 years now? Or at least pronounced dead. Yet someone's been here. He seems to care about her a lot. And I know if I had anyone, I wouldn't go to some place that I used to spend with them if I cared about them a lot.
Unless this was his place.
That extra piece you have on your phone, does it do fingerprints?
Handler, would I have anything that could... with a 60 criminology, do I have anything that could access fingerprints?
So in modern day, what you can do is you can dust for prints. If any of you have a higher forensic skill, you might have a kit with you that would be able to do that.
I do.
However, you would be sending that item back to a lab. You would probably hear about it in a week. So if you want to do that, you can most certainly do it.
Chris would speak up at that point and say, that's probably a little more in the doctor's wheelhouse. And I mean, we don't have time to get prints back.
No, I didn't know how far our technology had advanced.
They nod a little bit and shake their head. I personally don't have anything like that on me, no.
I mean, I could do it, but it would take at least a week or two to get back, and it wouldn't be a priority.
No, but we need to figure out who brought this newspaper here. If you think it's his wife, this is what we have to go on.
I'm pretty sure it was just him, and this is ridiculous. He probably came here to fish or get cool off. It might not have even been a place that he and his wife visited together if there's no pictures. There is not a womanly touch here. I
don't disagree. Like I said, someone came here with purpose and purpose alone.
Right. We're pretty... aren't we just... Okay, so... this is still in character. Aren't we literally just here to look for something? That's the whole point of us being here, so shouldn't we just look for that something?
We are, but he looks over to Chris, who's been kind of aloof throughout this whole thing, just following along. And I'm going to say with my human intellect of 80, I could tell that this might be their first mission.
Yes.
Is this your first mission too, Doctor?
No, I've been on a couple. I've been called in for multiple...
So then you know what we're here for. You know that this isn't just, and he air quotes, human.
I'm pretty sure if the... Oh, what's that term? If it looks like it could be the obvious thing, it's probably the obvious thing. We might as well keep looking before we conspiracy theory his dead wife back alive.
I just thought it was a possibility.
I just walk off to go look in another room.
All right.
I need to go find the other two. They've been doing this longer than you have, and you see him walk off to go find the other two.
Sure.
Chris stands there for a moment, like looking between both of them, not wanting anyone to really be alone, and decides that since Cornwell is going towards other people, that they will stay with the doctor.
Sure. All right. So Cornwell, as you head outside, you are heading towards where you saw them go last, which would have been the shed. At this point, we will snap back to Lorelei and McMurdy. You guys have started to head down this pathway that you saw. The only thing you really can note is that the ground here is got a little bit of rock to it, but not much. Looks like if it was to rain, it would probably be pretty muddy.
I was just going to say, with the alertness and also with the 60% in military science land, he's looking around to see if there's any like outcroppings or any hills or something that looks like maybe a hidden bunker or something like that out here. Like while they're walking, he's keeping an eye out for that.
Sure. So as you're walking as you're walking down this path, you're kind of scanning the horizon and things like that. The trees are a little bit thicker back here. Looking around though, you don't see anything as far as hills or anything else like that goes. It looks any way unnatural. The only thing you do notice is as you start to walk back, you do start to catch view of something that is partially buried back here.
I pointed out to Lorelei.
Let's go check it out.
Of course.
Lorelei's walking barefoot because she has just sixth sense. She wants to see if this was well traversed. Was it any significance?
And can we say that because I've been looking for signs of where somebody might have set up shop or where somebody might have traveled a bunch, I can help her? Like that's a help action?
Absolutely, that's perfectly fine. As you two are walking and looking at the ground and things like that, you do see there is some obvious signs of boot prints and things like that, but it looks like it's the same boot prints. Lorelei, with your connections, you feel like this path is well traversed. You feel like this is something that wasn't done all the time, but was done consistently.
Okay. I'm gonna go in the footpaths, like where the normal paths are. I'm gonna step in them and match it, kind of.
Sure.
As we head towards that thing that's sticking out.
Sure. So you all start to head back toward this object. You're stepping in the paths. You feel more of that, a little bit of a feeling of sadness as you're making this walk. The thing, as you round the corner, what you see is a partially buried septic tank. One end of it is sticking out of the ground quite considerably. The other one appears to be partially buried. This is a little bit odd, as usually septic tanks are subterranean, but this one doesn't appear to be. The footprints do lead towards this object. They also lead around to the sides.
Cool. I'll just match the footprints and I'll touch the septic tank.
Sure. So as you're walking and touching the septic tank, it is concrete and metal. So, because they're usually kept underground, they're pretty and break apart. The only thing that you really catch immediately off of observing this thing is that it is really big. It is, I don't know, is everybody use feet? If I describe it in feet, will that be a good representation?
Yeah.
Works for me.
Like, is it person big? Is it, like, more than person big?
It is 16 feet long, 9 feet wide, and 9 feet high.
Okay.
So like a bus.
I don't like it.
It is quite large.
Yeah.
They're usually septic tanks are usually pretty big, but this one seems bigger than it should be.
It's almost like an oil tanker.
Yeah, the only reason you get this information is, or can obviously see this, is because of where it is buried, and then using McMurdy's land and his various experience, he can kind of tell with the amount of the structure that is out and in, this is normally something that is buried. Half of it is still a little bit under the ground, half of it is out of the ground, and it is kind of laying at an angle, but it's just a big septic tank.
If it's sticking out, that means there's one end of it kind of sticking out. Do the footprints go around to that end?
The footprints do go up to it. You do see that there is a little ladder on the outside, fashioned on the outside, and then the footprints go around the object as well. As you follow them, it looks like they go around and then continue off down another trail that looks like it leads to a stream that you can see, but that's about it.
Does the ladder look used?
Yes. It does have
Okay.
some caked mud on it.
I'm climbing the ladder.
Sure. As you get near the top, you can see that this big septic tank. You find you find a hatch at this end of it, and the hatch is locked shut with several locks on it. It is a metal and concrete hatch, so it's kind of sitting down on top of it, and then there's several locking mechanisms around the sides of it that are locked at this point.
What do you see up there?
It's a hatch, and this staircase has been used rather frequently. I'm guessing it's some sort of secret hideout. Personally, that's what I would do.
And McMurdy's standing there at the bottom of the ladder, and he's not trying to be obvious about it, but he's ready, like he's kind of readying himself in case you fall.
Sure. So as you're up there checking it out, at this point, Cornwell does approach. So Cornwell, as you walk down this pathway, because you followed the direction that you assume they most likely went after seeing the gas cans, you do start to walk up towards the group of them and see them on top of this big septic tank.
Look what we found.
I think it's a hideout.
Is there any way to get in there?
Yeah, it's locked. Can someone get, like, a crowbar or something?
We can go back and look and see if there's some crowbars in the shed. You want to stay here with her, Cornwall?
Yes, I'll stay. That's fine.
He nods to you both and starts walking back towards the shed.
Sure. As you start walking back towards the shed, we'll snap back to Dr. Kamarov and Chris, who are doing crossword puzzles, apparently. Inside of the cabin.
Word searches.
Yeah, word searches.
Working hard.
We snap back to the two of you. Are you still in the main room, the kitchen, or have you moved back towards the other rooms?
I would have tried to move back to the other rooms.
Sure. There's a door to the right and to the left.
Would I be able to tell which one is more used?
What skill do you have that you would like to do that with?
Forensics?
Do you have anything as far as,
I have search at 40.
Yeah, let's use search.
Darn, I was hoping forensics. I'm real good at forensics. 48. And I have a 40.
Okay, so with that roll, you're able to look around. As far as immediate obvious things, it looks like the door to the left has a little bit less dust leading up to it. The door to the right has a bit more.
Cool. I will go to the door on the left really quick.
Sure. As you open up the door to the left, it's a bathroom.
Figures.
The only thing that immediately catches your attention about this bathroom is that the sink fixture looks like it's newer. As you turn the faucet, the water does come through. It looks like a normal bathroom.
All right. This room is clean-ish, maybe. I look in the medicine cabinet.
Inside of the medicine cabinet, you find a couple antacids and some ibuprofen.
Okay. Good for me. I will look at Winston and go, do you want to go into the other room, or should we wait?
No, we should check out everything if we're the only ones left here. Yeah. And then they will begin to open the other door.
All right. So as you open up the other door, this one is a bedroom. This one looks like a little bit different than the other one. The bed is on a metal bed frame. It's not anything fancy. There's no headboard or anything like that. It's just a bed on a bed frame. To the left, you do see that there is a closet. To the right, you do see that there is a television with a VCR. And then that is it for this room.
Does the bedroom look used, and or does it look like it ever housed like a couple, like two people?
Possibly. It is a queen-size bed, so you could assume that maybe it was used at some point. There is a little bit of cobwebs and some dust on here. The only other area that you notice is it looks like to the left, the dust that I was mentioning before looks a little bit less used towards the closet. Or it looks like there's a little bit less dust towards the closet. The bed definitely looks like it's been a while since it's been used.
Okay. With that, Chris would kind of head nod towards the closet for the doctor and begin to go that way.
Sure. So, Doctor, are you joining Chris?
Sure.
Okay. As you both approach the closet, you pull back the shutters, and inside there is a gun case to the right, like a locked up gun case. And then on the floor is a Vietnam-era metal, trunk.
Interesting. Was he part of the military? I asked.
Through his history, no. He was a member of the IRS. He did serve with the program from in the 60s and 70s, but there's nothing in there as far as his participation in the military.
in the search I did on his wife, she wasn't part of the military either, was she?
No, she was not.
So he had something he's not supposed to.
Yeah, as odd as that is striking Chris, they are going to attempt to unlock or break the lock on both the gun case and the Vietnam case, the metal case.
Okay. Do you have any sort of lockpick skill?
Absolutely not.
All right. Let's see. What could you use?
If there's anything in the bedroom, like or that I've seen through the house, like a crowbar, or if it's a small loot, like a small lock, like a screwdriver, then they would try.
I could possibly use surgery to to pop it open because I'm real deaf with the surgery.
Sure. So
I want to see this.
Sure. All right. So are you guys searching? Okay. So we'll say, as you take a look at this gun case, you see that there is a lock in there, like a key lock, and you start to try and pick it with your surgery tools. It does look a little bit odd as you're shoving a scalpel into a tumbler, but it's fine.
I don't judge.
Use what you got.
Gets the job done.
So good.
Go ahead and roll luck.
Okay. Where's that?
It's 50-50 shot.
Oh.
You got to roll under 50.
I got a 99.
All right.
Yes.
So, with a 99, you break off your medical device inside of the lock.
Oh, that's a perfectly good scalpel.
It doesn't look like it's going to be relatively easy to get out of this gun case.
Darn it. We're just going to say it was like that when we got here.
He put a scalpel in it? Chris is going to continue to look for something large and pole-like to get some leverage and break this lock.
I could shoot it. That's about the other thing I got.
Chris, while Kamarov is messing around with this gun case, you take a look at this locker box. The lock is not locked on this device, so you can pop this one open.
Chris gives a little chuckle and pops the lock open and begins searching through to see what is in there.
Sure. As you open up the locker, the thing that strikes you immediately about this is that you know immediately that this looks like what you've been looking for. You see a folder on top of to the left, on top of everything else that's in there. On that folder, you can see a drawn green triangle. To the right, you see there are other items in bags and boxes. Taped to the top of this trunk is a VHS tape, and there's also several keys that are taped next to the VHS tape. Are you looking through the box any further, or what would you like to do?
Just a super quick scan of the paperwork to make sure it's just like it looks like what you said, basically, that it's all Green Delta type stuff, and otherwise Chris is gonna rip the tape off of, or rip the VHS tape off of the tape and kind of hold it up to the doctor and be like shaking it in the air, like, do we watch it?
I mean, is there a VHS thing here? What are those things called?
He's gotta have a VCR.
Is there a VCR?
As you look around the room again, below the television there is a VCR. Also, Chris, when you take a look into the paperwork, the items that are in here are a personal account of the operations that Clyde has been on.
Chris would just look for the most recent.
The most recent is listed as 1984, and it is listed as Seattle, Washington. Do you want to start looking through this some more?
Chris would actually hand the tape to the doctor so she could get it started, and Chris would do two things. She would look for the most recent, and then look for the year that his wife appeared in the obituary, because Chris still thinks that his wife is part of Delta Green.
Okay. So, are you kind of scanning these documents, or are you reading them heavily?
If there's only like one per those years, like obviously the latest, Chris is going to read heavily, and then they're going to look for the year that the wife died. If there's multiple, scanning. If there's one, then reading heavily.
All right. Go ahead and give me a sanity roll.
Oh, fuck.
All right. What is how do I roll?
You just roll a D100.
I'm so sorry.
Yep.
I really
No,
feel
this
You
bad
roll a
now.
D100, and you have to roll below your sanity.
Okay, my sanity is 65. I'm rolling now.
Oh, well, you got a good chance.
Is it our current or our
47.
maximum?
Current.
Oh, God.
What did you roll?
47.
Is that under?
That is under my sanity.
Cool. You lose 1 point of sanity.
Oof.
So,
That means it was bad.
even if you succeed, you lose typically.
Yeah, it's a mechanic question, because in normal Call of Cthulhu, my DM doesn't make us lose one if we succeed, so that's different in Delta Green.
Yes, in Delta Green, you have a minimum and a maximum that you can lose.
Yeah, I think there are some things that are like, if you raise your head in gunfire, you might not lose stuff, but if you see anything of like unnatural, you're likely going to lose something.
Yeah, and it just depends on the situation. Some things are loss 0 if you pass. Also, if you become adapted to things like violence or helplessness, then you can pass without losing sanity. But in this particular scenario, because Chris is looking into some occult items, they would lose sanity.
Awesome. Sorry to break the game to ask, but thank you.
Oh, no, it's quite all right. No, again, this is a one-shot. You can ask any questions you want. We're not doing just a theatrical thing.
That's the whole point of this show, is to learn new games that we've never played before.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So, Chris, you start to dive deeper into this most recent entry from Seattle. It looks like this is just a collection of notes. You see screaming from it, and then you see another entry of shifty eyes, watch for the eyes. Another entry of it jumps from host to host. We need to root it out. And then you see a very crudely drawn picture of this thing. It looks like it's bipedal, but where it looks like it should have or rather, it's hunched, like very heavily hunched. The arms are very long, and they end in pointed nails. The face has a jaw that is longer than it should be, and the eyes look like they're sunk back into the skull. They're not colored in at all, so it's assumed that they're white.
Okay. Looking over these papers, Chris kind of freezes up for a moment, drops them, backs up about 4 steps, and then glances at the doctor, hoping to, and like, they are like, wait, and kind of hold their hand out and hoping to stop the doctor from putting the video in.
She's about to put it into the VCR.
Okay, do you put the video into the VCR is the next question.
Yes, she's like, pushes it in. What?
Yes.
Chris is like, there's some major stuff, and then like gets about that far into the sentence when I imagine the video probably starts playing.
Sure. As you put the video into the VCR and hit play, you see the room you're in now. You see a little bit of chop at the start, if you're familiar with how old VHS tapes typically look. And then in walks Clyde, but this looks like a younger Clyde. There's not any sort of date on the video or anything like that. And Clyde walks forward and sits down on the bed. And Clyde looks down at the floor, and crossing his hands and moving his feet, and he sighs deeply. If you found this, then I will assume that I am dead. And I will assume that I did not have the courage to do what I needed to do.
Chris very audibly speaks up. Yes.
He can't hear you.
You see him rub his face. Inside the shed, you will find 15 gallons of gas. Take those and take them to the septic tank. Next to this video, you will find the keys to the septic tank. I advise that you open it, pour all of the gas into the tank, and then light it. You'll be much happier if you didn't look inside. Please make sure that there's no trace of this. I don't want my family to find this. And you see him put his head in his hands. He says, "I'm so sorry." And it goes on for about 5 more minutes before a teary-eyed Clyde gets up and walks back over to where you assume that the camera is at that point, and then the tape stops.
With my 70 in human int and my 10 in psychotherapy, do I think telling the doctor about what I found would hurt them like it did me? Losing sanity, I imagine I know that something was like rough in my mind.
So that's up to you if you want to show them. Given that it's your first mission and you've never worked with the camera off before, you're not sure how much she knows about things that go bump in the night, essentially. So that's up to you. Would you like to show them?
How innocent-ish.
Chris is gonna kind of step between the doctor and the closet, and they look at the doctor and they say, I found some stuff. That's why I told you to wait back here in this case. There's probably more information on what he's talking about. Something that... And then Chris kind of stops and says, I'll let you decide if you want to look at it.
Well, is it bloody or something? Or...
It's just a little creepy.
I mean, I look at the creepiest things that murderers do every day, so sure, and I will glance at it.
You're looking at the same document that Chris looked at?
Yeah, Chris would have pointed out the exact folder.
Okay, sanity check.
So, if I have 65, I have to beat 65.
You have to roll lower.
Nope.
What'd you roll?
87.
No. Okay. You lose 2 sanity.
Okay.
As Dr. Kamarov, as you look over this, you see the same words. You see the panic in the script or in the items that he's written. You see that face of this thing that doesn't look human. And given what you've known of the program and what it deals with, you know that Clyde saw this.
I will just go, well, fuck. Let's go take care of this right now. Let's get the keys.
I think whoever it is definitely inside the tank. Like, he wants to blow up the tank. He couldn't. Why couldn't he? And is there any way my human intelligence would lead me to believe that as a Delta Green agent, that probably the only person he couldn't kill is someone in his family, like his wife?
So you're using human?
Yeah.
Okay, what do you have in human again?
70.
70%. Okay. Go ahead and give me a roll. And your target number is 70 or lower.
Yep, 53.
Okay. So with the 53, you taking a look at Clyde in that video, you can clearly see that he was in pain. You don't really know what led up to this whole scenario that he's in or why he's asked for you to carry this out, but you can see that Clyde is in some serious pain.
And Chris will continue with the doctor. I don't know why a Delta Green agent wouldn't get rid of something unnatural, but he was clearly having trouble. I think we need to go tell the others.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. So the video said the keys. Let me go grab those, and I'll go grab the keys out of the closet.
Okay. So at this point, Cornwell, you do enter back into the building.
Okay.
So you might have come in on the tail end of that sobbing man. Are you walking back towards the room?
If I come in at the tail end of that, I would definitely walk into the room, hearing what's going on.
Sure. So Dr. Kamarov has just gone and gotten the keys as you walk in.
And much differently from how they treated Dr. Kamarov, Chris grabs the folder and hands it to Cornwell, having earned some respect from him.
Sure. Looking at, as quickly as you hand it to me, I probably look at you with my human intelligence and tell that something has slightly changed in you. That's what I do, is see the small things, the idiosyncrasies in people. I don't think I in knowing what we do, what did you see?
There's definitely something here. Definitely the reason we've been sent here. He couldn't take care of it. They kind of look from the doctor and to Cornwell and decide to speak anyway. They go, it jumps from host to host. I don't know what that means. But yeah, it's all in here.
There's been documentation of this stuff for years, just you didn't know it. Have you ever seen the movie Fallen?
No.
Denzel Washington? Watch it. You'll see. Out of character, that's just a conspiracy theory.
Yeah, if we make it out of this.
Right.
And he will then open up the book and look at it, and I will roll you my insanity.
Yeah, go for it.
Oh my god, I rolled an 8.
Nice.
Okay, so you still lose 1 sanity.
Yep.
Looking through these, you see the same thing that the two of them have seen. The only difference is you start to flip through the pages a little bit more, and you see a phrase written over and over and over again. The phrase that is written is Sentia est mors. Sentia est mors. Sentia est mors. Does one of you have Latin?
I do.
What is your percentage
as
of
well?
Latin?
But I'm
40.
not there.
40?
Yeah, just a side note, if I saw Cornwall go back to the house, I would have rushed back to where Lorelai was.
I'm not
Sure,
staying by
that's fine.
myself. I'm a chicken. I'm gonna go too.
Yeah, because Cornwall said he was going to stay with her, so...
Yeah, I assumed that she came with me. If you said that I was going, because I would have stayed, or at least I would have said to her that I'm going in, and then she would have come with me.
Yeah.
I forgot that McMurdy was the one to go back.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you guys were waiting for me to come back with the crowbars.
Yeah.
Who had Latin?
I do.
Okay,
I
what's your
have
percentage?
40%.
Chris has 50.
And I've got 50.
Okay. So we'll just say, for all intents and purposes, that McMurdy has gone to get the crowbars and has started to head back. We'll say the Cornwall and Palmer are here. Go ahead and all three of you roll me a Latin.
I gotta roll well? Nope. I am not rolling well tonight.
We can say I didn't see them pass me because I was in the shed when they did.
Yeah,
Sure.
no problem.
Chris got a 22.
26.
Okay, awesome. So Chris, that's a critical success too. That's awesome.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, doubles or crits in this game.
Woo.
Okay.
Which makes it way funnier when combat happens.
Oh,
So,
God.
all right, now you looking at this phrase, and you might see Cornwall mouthing it, Sentias Mors. You know exactly what that means, which is knowledge is death. And maybe do you say that out loud?
Yes, almost probably the second time he mouthed it, I just repeat
Sure.
that.
So Cornwall and anybody else who's been part of the program for a while will know this is a very common phrase used by agents. They don't say it in Latin, that's new, but knowledge is death is a very common thing.
I would turn to the doctor, knowing that Chris is new to this. They wouldn't know that it's a thing in the bureau, I think, because they're new. So I turn to Alex or Amelia to see what she like the look on her face is hearing that.
I will stop in the doorway when I hear that and just tilt my head a little bit. Like, where is that from the book?
It was written over and over in the file, but it was Latin. I know that much. I didn't know what it meant until Winston here told us.
Can I? It's kind of my specialty.
And I'll hand you the file.
Occult 80%. What do I know?
Sure. All right, so with an occult of 80, you know the reason for this phrase. And that is because the agents that participate in activities with Delta Green, it's better that they don't know. They are here to do a job. That is your job here in this scenario as well. It is better that you don't question, that you don't look. This is the common thought process of Delta Green. And the reason, one of the big things that they try to let people know is don't get too deep. That's basically what they're saying with this. And feeling the page, you can feel the panic that went into writing this. There comes a time with a lot of agents where this phrase, in whatever capacity that it's in, because it may not be immediately apparent to them or they may not have heard it, but it is something that will stick with them forever, that knowledge is death, that you are better off not knowing what is out there.
Why you dangle the cookie? Why? Oh no.
If that's shared, I will share with Lorelai as well, and what the book said in the gist of it, and what the video said, since they both caught the end of it, and just say we need somebody who can be strong enough not to peek. We need to just get rid of whatever is inside of it. No questions asked.
You can't go alone in this. No one can.
We can go there together, but one person needs to have the willpower to pull the trigger. I don't know what it looks like, but is there enough room for more than one person?
Technically, yes. We're gonna need at least that many to pour it in fast if it's holding something, and definitely looks like it's holding something.
I'm gonna start going through the little container like a kid in a candy store to try and see if he has any more details about what this thing could be.
And out of character question, have any of us seen something like this before in any of our missions?
Yeah, that's a good question.
No.
No. Okay.
No.
So just to rephrase, anything even similar to this, like a beast of some kind? Have we dealt with a beast of some kind, or has it all just been theory up till now?
So, Lorelei, you have an 80% in occult, right?
Yes, I do.
So with this, you've heard mention of things like these. They're typically referred to as void walkers. They have a bunch of different names, but that's something that they're often referred to as. You know that they're typically, in books and things like that, they're referred to as beings from other dimensions. They don't really obey the laws of physics on a lot of scenarios.
Okay.
And then with my 40%, would I know any of that?
Go ahead and roll.
Sure. No, 88.
Okay, so as you try to look into it and deeper suss it out, Lorelei, are you telling Cornwell this?
Yeah, it's very nonchalantly, like everyone should know this, but even though no one does, like, it's a void walker.
Go ahead and roll me a sanity check, Cornwell.
Oh, that's the one. Okay. 27.
All right, cool.
Another one.
You don't lose any in this scenario.
Oh,
but
okay.
You do feel that tinge of, like, what do you mean it's from somewhere else? Like, that's not how this works. Yeah. They're always from here, you know.
Where you see his eyes go wide, his mouth kind of goes agape for a second. You see that he almost like asks himself a question without moving his mouth, and then he says it out loud. Like, what do you mean? Where is it from? What void?
She closes what she does, like what she's reading, very like I really have to explain this right now. And she looks at him and says, "From the void, from the other, from places that we can't access." I've done it before.
The Stranger Things, the upside down.
That's not a thing.
No, they are all documentations.
You don't read into things. That's your problem. And then she's just going to keep reading it.
So, Cornwell, one thing you will know as people are telling you this, and you've been on, given the amount of missions you've been on, is you start to feel this panic. You do also remember something very important, which is you've had to take care of other agents. The phrase "knowledge is death" is not just for your protection. It is also because as you learn more, that's when people stray. You have had to take care of those who have strayed. You remember this in the back of your head as this image is gnawing at your psyche, making you think about what else could be out there, what else do I not know, but then reminded, knowledge is death.
This might be a dumb question, but out of character. Take care of, you mean kill, not like hold their head, right?
Kill them.
Yeah, okay.
And Cornwell, you know this well, the organization, the program, as they're referred to, doesn't mess around with things like morality or personal benefit or anything else like that. This is for the common good. If there is a problem, you are expected to take care of it.
I think Cornwell will look to Winston as they look confused in all of this, because I'm assuming Winston looks confused in all of this.
Absolutely.
And you'll have to learn quick. You know, I've sussed out that you're from the CIA now. I could tell. Gadgets, the gait in your walk. It all makes sense. They don't teach you well enough there. You'll learn here. Once you're in this, there's no coming back. It's either the dark or continuing on.
But I don't quite understand. Sorry for my slowness here, but it's simple, right? He's a Delta Green agent. He wants us to pour gasoline in this tank, so let's go do it. If she needs someone to do it, I will.
No. You're the newest of us all. Your brain is the freshest.
I'll do it.
Let one of us old folks do it. I'm assuming is that when McMurdy walks in?
Yeah. Absolutely. As you're all sitting there, McMurdy, you would have had time to go down to the tank, see that nobody is there, and walk back to the building. You do hear them talking from the back room as you start to walk back.
All right, I'm going to come in, and it's going to be like anybody who's seen House of a Thousand Corpses when their big brother walks in, car's done. You know, like he just kind of walks in, and he's got this almost pissed off look on his face because everybody just took off, and he's like worrying about you all. And he heard the last part of the conversation, and he'd just look at you all and be like, if there's a trigger that needs pulled, I'll do it. Let's just get to it.
Sorry, just I would say you see a visible like relief kind of drop as Chris like drops their shoulders, and you get the sense that they didn't really want to. They were just trying to step up as the new person.
So who are we going after then? Because you only heard the last part about who's going to do it.
It's not a who, it's a what.
Lorelai knows best.
And she is still singing the put on a happy face under her breath as she's reading through files.
Lorelai, what are we dealing with here?
Voidwalker.
For those uninformed, what would that be?
Bad thing. Don't look at it.
He looks at you like that's... At first it's like, that's dumb, and then he thinks, no, that might be best. Thank you. So what do we need to do?
Armor up. I don't think it's gonna go without a fight. But I need to research, and I need quiet. So.
I look to the rest of you. What are we going to fight?
We need gasoline.
He smiles when you say that.
We've seen something similar. Well, I've seen something similar. I've never seen something this big before. She said it's from a void. It's the other place, wherever that is. Maybe it is. People. Yeah, you've seen the movie?
No.
What do they teach you people back in your organizations? God.
I didn't go to study movies.
Documentation. And you see that he looks like he's gone through a couple sanity checks. You see that he looks a little bit crazier at this time.
He's a little worn at the edges. He's gonna look at you though, like right after you mention the gas, and be like, "There's 15 gallons out in the shed."
I don't know if it's gonna burn with fire. It just doesn't make sense.
Well, Clyde has done a lot of research on it, or so it seems. I mean, he started this back in '84, and...
Well, but he survived the fire.
He did.
What do you think the monster does?
I think he attempted to kill it, and
I think he tried to kill himself.
Bingo.
I don't think so.
Look,
why would this creature ever jump?
If something got inside him.
Why would this creature ever jump away from a fine body? I wouldn't.
He was old.
He couldn't fight it anymore.
So. Based on that handler, that's actually a good point. Handler, out of character. How old was his wife compared to him?
She was about 5 years younger than him.
So, pretty old too.
Yeah, well, she died 8 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah.
Yeah, but Chris is on this conspiracy theory that she's Delta Green. So.
Sure. All right. So are you all heading to the tank, or what are we doing?
Well, Handler, what should we do?
I will... Chris kind of raises their hand and steps up again as the green person says, we can either finish Clyde's mission, or we can take all of this back to Delta Green and inform them. He's been dead for days and this thing hasn't got out. It doesn't look like he's been here long, and they kind of point at the whole cabin, like their arm out.
We only
Yeah,
have
so-
48 hours to take care of this, though.
He asked the doctor
We
for the
can text
phone
them.
that we found in the car.
The thing down by that we found is way too big for us to take with us.
We're gonna need backup.
No, we just take the documents that we have to burn and we give it we clean our hands of this. Isn't that what we're supposed to do?
That's not how this job works, Chris.
Does Amelia give Cornwell the phone from the car?
Yeah.
He would walk out of the room, and just because you guys are all talking and doesn't want to have the noise in the background, he'll call the one number that's in there.
Sure. So it rings a few times, and then you hear the control officer answer. Is it done?
We found what's in the cabin. We've gotten rid of the Delta Green sensitivities, but there's something deeper here.
What do
we go farther, or do we send in somebody bigger?
What do you mean a cabin?
We followed the clues. You know it's always not just one place. Don't play coy. Don't play stupid. Farther or no.
If there's something left there that is... What are you talking about? You're looking for documents. What did you find?
All you need to know is we need backup here right away. And he hangs up the phone.
Okay, so after you hang up the phone, you get a text about 5 minutes later as you're walking back to the room that says, "There is no backup. That's not how this works. If you find something, you take care of it. You have 48 hours to wipe our hands of this. I don't care what there is, you get rid of it."
And you see him throw the phone into the woods.
If I see him throw the phone, I will go get the phone.
They just throw it
Knowing
out the
how
window.
forensics works.
Like he's at the
Break
window.
the window.
Yeah, it's just like
Okay.
we were in this cabin, right? So he's just like he walked out of the room in this hallway. There's a window. He just throws it out the window after he gets that text message.
Okay.
Seeing he didn't get very far.
Oh, I was just gonna call the handler.
Amelia goes and gets the phone.
Yeah, we have a second phone.
Okay, so you're gonna call the
Yes.
control officer again?
Yep.
All right.
But no, McMurdy's going to start just taking gas cans down. He looks at you guys all arguing about what to do, and he's like, "All right." And he walks out and starts. You see him walk to the shed, grab like 2 gas cans in each hand, and start walking down.
Chris seeing someone with direction and possibly alone will begin moving gas cans as well.
Thank you.
Okay. So as you all are moving gas cans, Palmer, you call the control officer's number. Before you can even speak, the control officer starts. "Listen, I understand that some of you have never done this before. I understand that there may be things here that we don't want to know about. I know
already
that better
know.
than most. That's fine. Nobody else is supposed to. These things aren't supposed to exist. There is no backup."
I know. I'm just telling you what it is, just in case we can't finish it.
And he's going to hang up the phone on you, and he's going to text you back. It says, "We don't speak of this."
You need therapy is what I text back, and then get back up.
Sure.
And
Well,
you
actually,
see-
he doesn't need therapy because he doesn't know about it. Because if he knew about it, then he would need therapy.
you see a moment where, like a somber moment with Cornwell, where he pulls out his own, he's got his own encrypted phone, and he calls his third wife, and he's just, if anybody hears it, it's a short conversation, and maybe even it's just a message. Maybe he gets the answering machine. It's just like the conference is going well. I miss you, dear. I may have to stay longer if you don't hear from me for a couple days. And you hear he goes silent for a minute, and he just says at the end of it, "I love you," and he hangs up the phone.
Okay. So, as you all have just had your conversation with the control officer, and some of you are taking the items back, those of you who've been in Delta Green for a little bit longer, you do understand a little bit as you've had a chance to cool off why the control officer is this way. Usually, there is no greater cleanup team if something has to happen, as far as something on site, just because the family of Clyde is going to be here. There's no time. So that kind of sets in as the feeling of we have to take care of this sets in. The phrase muddling through your head again of the knowledge is death and the understanding a little bit more of we have to wipe this clean. We have to burn this whole thing.
By whole thing, do you mean the cabin, or do you mean like just the person inside the possible thing?
That's up to you.
Guys, by whole thing, do we mean the cabin?
You guys have made it clear that I'm the new one here, but I do trust the old man on the video. He seems like he knew quite a lot, maybe more than all of us combined.
Just in case I'm looking for a spell, and I'm looking through his shit, he has to have a spell. There's no way this man doesn't have a spell.
All right. So skimming through, looking for items. Is this while you're walking back towards the thing, or are you just staying in the house?
I am in a pyramid of paper.
Okay, sounds good. So
Full research mode.
And Cornwall goes to start helping McMurdy carry the gas.
Sure. Who all's staying inside and who is all going out?
I will make sure that Lorelai's not by herself.
Okay.
Chris is still carrying gas.
Okay. So the two of you start to piece through papers and things like that. You start to... The only thing that you can find in reference to anything of what you've discovered so far is a reference to the other. And you've started to look a little bit deeper into this. And at this point, we'll flash back to the rest of the party who's outside. We'll say that you've completed carrying the gas canisters over to the actual septic tank.
Okay, well, as we were bringing out the last gas can, McMurdy would just look at you guys, grab one of the crowbars, crawl up to the top, and start popping locks.
Oh, you have the keys.
Well, they do. I walked in on a lot
Okay.
of parties.
Sure.
I don't, because I only caught the last part of that conversation.
Oh, that's true.
I only caught, hey, so who's going to be the one to do it? So he's like, all right, well, this is what's got to happen. Click, click, click.
So you start trying to wrench these locks up. These are pretty hefty locks. You start to make some progress.
With a strength of 13.
What's your strength times 5?
65%.
Okay, so you start to make some progress on one of these locks. Go ahead and give me a strength roll.
Okay. 77, so nope.
Okay, so you're trying, but with a critical failure, you're like, ugh. You know, maybe you need to get a different angle or something like that.
Yeah, I like reposition and kind of get upset and try and go for a different lock. And so you guys see me up there just prying at one lock and that wouldn't give, so you see me reset and kind of dig the crowbar into the next lock to try and lift that up.
Are you guys going to let him continue to attempt at these locks?
I mean, 2 people there know that there's keys.
I'm not out there.
Yeah. I'm there with him.
Chris will actually speak up and say, well, we have the keys back in the cabin. And I don't really want to pop this until we're ready.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought one of you took them. My apologies.
Somebody back in the cabin did. I think it was like Lorelai or something.
I had them last...
Oh, I'm
the doctor.
I thought they were passed. My apologies.
This is ready. It needs to be done, right?
We all came here together. We should either do it together or someone should be allowed to leave if they actually want to. But we should give them the opportunity to be here.
And you'll see Cornwell just start walking off towards the cabin to go get the keys.
Sure.
Yeah, honestly, as Cornwell walks off, Chris, looks between McMurdy and Cornwell like they did something wrong. And they're like, right? We should all be here, right?
Then go get him. This needs to happen one way or the other.
I probably, I think after, he's pissed after that conversation with the controller. and he probably walks not all the way up to the door and then just yells for the two of them. He's not being quiet anymore right now.
Sure. So, Kamarov and Lorelei, you hear Cornwell screaming. What are you screaming at them?
I'm just like, Doctor, Lorelei, we need to go. Come on, hurry. Time to go.
Do you want to die or do you want to live?
I just want to take care of this so we can leave.
Exactly.
I need the keys. So give me the keys at least. We need the keys.
If I don't have a spell prepped, we're gonna die. You don't get it.
And at that point he'll walk in and he'll come up and just like put his hand out towards the two of them. You have the keys, I was told. Somebody give me the keys. We need to hurry up and prep your any air quotes spell.
Just mumble something in Latin.
Do I understand what it was? Hold on. Nope. I failed Latin.
Something about a cheeseburger.
Who could think about food at a time like this, Lorelei?
I just give them both a look and just keep going back to my papers. I'm going fast now. I'm allowing, if it's gonna take sanity, fine. I was being super careful before. Now I'm just looking for something to say. I know they're getting antsy, and I'm scared that Cairo's gonna happen again.
Sure.
Probably smell like some gasoline from me quickly walking, and it's spilling a little bit on my pant legs and stuff like that as I walk into the room.
And McMurdy's having Chris hand gas cans up to him so he's ready, if they're willing.
Yeah, Chris is willing to help up until the point of opening this thing.
Does the doctor give me the keys?
As long as you promise not to open it before Lorelei is ready.
Okay. What do you need? How much time do you need? And you see he's getting more antsy.
I need to look through these papers. How about you get the guns open? We're gonna need them.
I mean, alright, I start walking Lorelei down to the thing while she's reading.
Sure.
Do I need to make a check to see if I can find something?
No, with a skill of 80%, you'll be able to do this pretty easily. So you're all walking towards the septic tank, is that correct?
Yeah, as we start walking towards the septic tank, I've got the keys, and I put them in my pocket, and I pull out my what gun do I have? I've got my 9mm pistol, and you see him just like he gets it ready.
You got a service pistol. Yeah, you would normally have that.
So
okay.
He loads that and gets it all. Makes pulls the mag out to make sure that it's filled, puts it back in, pulls it back, cocks it. He's ready for action now.
Sure. Okay. So as you can kind of feel this tenseness as you start to head back towards this. Lorelei, as you're looking through these papers, are you guys starting to open the locks then, or are you letting Lorelei do her thing?
When I'm about 5 feet away from McMurdy, I would just toss him the keys.
Okay. So, Lorelei, as you start to look through these, you hear the other agents starting to pop open the locks on the device, or on the key there.
Chris would actually, if they start popping open the locks, being privy to, some of the information and knowing that people don't want it open, they want to make sure the team is all on the same base, and Chris will make sure that the locks are not being popped open until everybody is ready. Sure.
How do you all feel about that? This is up to you guys.
Are you physically trying to stop me?
They will if they have to. First step, say something. Second step, put a hand on your shoulder. Third step, will actually get physical if they need to.
There's not going to be ready for this. You hear Cordwell say from, the 5 feet away, there's never prepared for this.
I won't be prepared for this, but some people think they will.
And maybe I think I'm prepared.
If they aren't ready to admit that they're unprepared and that they're going to continue to be unprepared, then we need to wait. We have 48 hours.
If we stay here, it will get to us. Well, you say it jumps from person to person. If we stay here, if we wait any longer, who says it's not going to jump into one of us?
Then let's go to the cabin and
Why are you trying to stop this? And you see him, pull the gun up. Why are you trying to stop this?
Cornwell, will you?
Yeah.
I just hold my hand up for a second and say, Cornwell, put the fucking gun down right now. Let her look for 5 goddamn friggin' minutes and calm your ass down. It's been stuck in there for 8 years. Let Lorelai look for 5 damn minutes in the dang book. It's been stuck in there for 8 years, if not longer. 5 minutes.
5 minutes. At 5 minutes, I'm opening it.
Yeah, as the doctor is saying that, Cornwell, you would see, like, very odd for their body shape. Like, Chris reacted very quickly to your gun and was, like, almost full sidestepped to the side behind somebody or behind a tree, like, whatever is close.
Also, I'm making sure that this is on your record that you just pulled a gun on one of your coworkers. So, just letting you know, Mr. Supposed Agent supposed to have his shit together.
No, that's fine.
Listen, I've never had an agent try to stop me from doing my job before.
Yeah.
I asked you politely to give someone a moment.
That's fine. Chris is like, hands up, is like, that's fine. We're not gonna report him. We're gonna do this job. Okay.
You're not gonna report him, I'm gonna report him.
So, as you all are having this conversation and this fighting amongst yourselves, we'll say that for story purposes, McMurdy has popped one of the locks. Maybe McMurdy has started to try to open the top. With that, as you all are fighting, you start to hear something.
Perfect.
Coming from inside.
I'm reading as fast as I possibly can. I don't care if I take psychic. I don't care if I get sanity loss at all.
McMurdy pulls his coat back a little bit, unclips his 387. Don't get in my way. We need to stop this and find out what's going on. And he just to everybody, because it's not a threat to you guys. He heard somebody crying. He's like, we need to get in there.
That's probably the thing. Don't trust it. Don't look. Just pour the gasoline in.
Are you popping the other lock, McMurdy? There are 2.
Well, I did say I'd give her the 5 minutes to look, so. But if that's probably almost over, he would have been like, look, this needs to happen.
Is there anything I can find, like, at all? Like, even a glimpse of something that I might be able to piece together?
Lorelai, the only thing that you can really find with looking through this information is that... Sorry, I was just reading that. We'll start over this. Lorelai, the only information that you can find looking through your notes is constant mention to the others, which doesn't make sense to you because that's not the Voidwalkers. The others are a different entity. They also are interdimensional, but they come from somewhere else.
Would it have power? Do names have power? That's immediately where her mind is going. She's gonna say names have power. The others, names have power. God, can I use anthropology to kind of think of whatever I could possibly use that might scare it and give us time?
Absolutely, go for it. Go ahead and use your anthropology. We'll do that for the purpose of research. Go for it.
Could Chris help?
Sure, Chris. What's your anthropology?
All right, I've got a 70%.
Chris has a 40.
Okay, sure. So Chris will allow you to assist, and with that, this is a stressful situation. So go ahead and roll for it, Lorelai. You'll get a plus 10, so it'll be 80% or lower.
Okay, I didn't hit the button, but I got a 20.
Awesome. So with the 20%, you know, and you started to think about the things that you've seen in anthropology and how they link, because the stories are always linked to something. There's always something behind the stories. The thing that you remember with the others is a story about corpses walking. You know that the others, you've seen this reference before. These are interdimensional beings. You know that they are commonly called the others when people don't really know how to dig into it. But you also know that there's mention of the others and walking corpses.
Skyro again. Okay. Walking corpse. It's a walking corpse, guys. It's a walking corpse.
Do walking corpses cry like that?
Probably.
And he's looking at you just like really asking you if you know.
Don't look at it. Voidwalker mixed with the others. The others want... Oh, God. We just need to go. Maybe I can come up with something in a moment.
Will gas work?
I don't know.
He leans down, puts his hand on the other lock, and he's like, all right, well, if nobody knows and the guy who did a lifetime of research says we need to do this, I'm going to go with it. Because by this time, he's heard you guys make a couple comments about it, because Chris did.
Sure. Lorelei, as you remember more things about the others, you do know that these walking corpses, that there is reference to burning them. There's also reference to locking them and throwing them into deep pools of water. They seem to be able to be destroyed by extreme damage, is what you usually remember by the stories.
Hey, a lot of firepower. We need a lot of firepower. Fire might work. We just need it. It's tanky. Drown it in a lake.
Okay.
Big body of water.
We have
These are
gasoline.
the options.
Burning was also an option.
McMurdy pulls out he's got
Burning's an
this,
option.
metal case that he pulls out of his duffel bag, and you see him pull out this MP5 with a silencer on it, full clip in it, and he kind of closes the box, puts that back into his bag. All right, firepower. He unlocks the last lock. Everybody ready?
So, are you doing it?
Yep. He lifts the lock and kicks over one of the cans into the door as soon as he does it.
Okay, so as you open up the lock and the light starts to spill into the tube, you hear from inside, "Who's there? Is someone there?" It sounds like a female voice.
It's not real, guys. Don't look. Don't listen.
And then you hear more. "Please, my husband, he went insane. He did something to me, and now I don't know. Just please help me out."
They're using her as a voice piece.
I hand up another thing of gasoline.
McMurdy's just, because he had like 4 or 5 of them up there with him too, so he's just kicking all of them in there. He takes the one that she hands up and tosses it in there, and then pulls out, he's got a little lighter he just keeps on him. It's like a little Bic. It's always good to have a lighter on you, so he probably just pulls out some receipt out of his pocket, lights it, drops it down the hole.
All right, so as you drop it down the hole, you see the light start to illuminate, and you see this human face, but the eyes are milky. It looks like the hair has all been torn out. It also looks like the skin is on the legs is kind of waterlogged as the flames start to consume Marlene. Marlene screams and yells in terror, "Please, no, help me!"
I hand another thing of gasoline.
And you said we saw that she was like wasting away from the bottom, you said?
Her legs are waterlogged because there is some water in the bottom of it. You just didn't get to see that because you were shoving cans in.
Burn it with fire.
Is the fire catching though, or
yes,
the fire would normally right on top?
Yeah.
Well, then, if they're all yelling at me that this thing's there, it's fake, it's not true, it's not real, he would just look down. Sorry. And he'd unload a round or a burst into.
Sure. Before you do that, as the reality of this starts to set in, go and give me a sanity roll, please.
Just a quick thing. I'm inured to violence.
That's fine. This thing that you're seeing isn't anything you've seen before.
Ooh, yeah, I rolled an 83, and my sanity is not that.
Okay.
Oh no.
You're going to lose 1 d8 sanity.
Okay.
So
let's see how
go and roll it.
Oh, did you want to roll?
No, you roll it.
Okay, I got a 5.
All right, so with a 5, that is going to give you a temporary ailment. Do you want to try and throw off some of your sanity onto your bonds? So what you can do in this game is you can roll a d4 if you want to shunt some of your sanity loss to a bond. It basically makes it so your relationship with that particular bond worsens.
Yes, actually. I'm going to shunt it over to I'm going to put it onto my psychiatrist, the one that's been with me since I first saw the thing in the past. And I've talked to them about every single thing in my life, really, except the Cthulhu type things that I've seen. And this is going to be one more thing that I'm going to have to just keep secret from them. And so we're going to have to grow a little bit farther apart.
Sure. Okay, go and roll me a d4.
2.
Okay, so you lose 3 sanity points, and you would normally take 2 off of your bond with them, but since it's a one-shot, we don't worry about it. But so as you see this thing start to catch fire and start to writhe, and you have your gun pointed at them, you think, God, they would never understand. I would never be able to explain this, as you start to unload into this thing. So go ahead and give me let me see which stat you have. I think you have firearms, don't you?
Yeah, it's got 60 listed next to the weapon.
Cool. Go ahead and roll it.
24.
Awesome. Go ahead and what's the damage for the MP5?
Well, I said I did a 5-round burst, and the damage normally is 1d10.
Oh, you are doing a 5-round burst? Okay. What did you roll?
I said
20?
I did a burst into her, so.
Oh, okay. That's fine. What did you roll? 20?
24.
24. Okay. Go ahead and give me... Go ahead and roll my 2d10.
Okay. 4.
On 2d10?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you start to unload into her, and with that, you see something different. So Marlene jumps out of the septic tank, and now the rest of you go ahead and as she lands on the ground, she jumps way higher than a human should be able to jump as the flames are licking off of her. Go ahead and the rest of you give me a sanity roll.
Holy crap, I passed something for once. I got a 29.
53.
Nice.
I got 001.
35.
Okay,
Pass for Chris.
one. Awesome. What is your guys' dexterity?
55%.
Mine is 12.
Without the times 5.
Oh,
13.
11.
10.
Does this pertain to dodge at all?
No, it's one of the base stats. So your base stats are strength,
Gotcha.
con,
I got a
dex.
10.
10? Okay.
12.
Okay.
With the athletic distinguishing feature.
Okay.
10.
Chris, what do you have? And then hammer off. Did I get yours?
I got a 13.
Okay. So Marlene is going to swipe at one of you. She's going to go after Chris.
Can Chris take any sort of defensive action?
Chris can dodge.
All right,
or
Chris
attempt
would
to
like
dodge.
to attempt to dodge because that is all they are good at anyway.
Hey.
I have a 50% in dodge and I rolled a 99.
Oh my god.
Oh no.
Okay.
Yep.
It was nice
So-
knowing you.
Chris. All right. Okay.
Rest in
So-
pieces.
As you go to dodge, you trip over yourself, and you see this Marlene thing scream out this otherworldly scream and just strike into you with its talons, and it does 6 points of damage to you. It is armor piercing 3, so if you have more than 3 armor, it goes through anyway.
Chris, weirdly enough, being on their first mission, has absolutely no armor whatsoever. They take all of it.
That's okay, you're not a combat character. So yeah, take 6 damage.
Okay. 4 hit points left.
Right?
So you watch this, like, basically almost claw come, like, raking across Chris, and you see this large gaping wound kind of open up on their chest.
Alright, so Kamarov, you were 13, right?
Yes.
Okay, do you have a weapon?
I do, but I also have first aid. Can I?
Okay, what would you like
I
to
would
do?
like to stop that whole mess that's happening.
Okay, so you run over to Chris, go ahead and roll first
I
aid.
have a 90%.
Yep, that's fine. Roll.
37.
Ooh.
Okay, awesome. You heal Chris up for 1 point. Chris, Kamarov comes over, and Kamarov, what do you do?
I pull out a emergency, like, piece of duct tape and just, like, duct tape the shit out of your wound. It's like, it's not gonna do very much, but here you go.
Yes.
All right, McMurdy.
I don't think they'll wait for me to, like, pull out a needle and thread.
So you do heal 1 point from that, Chris. You weren't bleeding, but any bleeding that would have been caused would have stopped with that. McMurdy, you were up.
McMurdy's he kind of follows with his alertness and everything. I figure as she jumps up, he follows her out and he reaches out with his MP5 as she lands. And she like goes to stand back up from swiping at him a little bit. He just unloads a 10-round burst into her.
Okay, so another 5. So go ahead and roll your firearm. Yep.
Hit. 26.
You're just going on the edge. All right, cool. Go ahead and roll me 2d10.
For a 10-round burst?
Yeah, because you can only do 5s with that, I think. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, well, does it say 10?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, but it's fine. We'll go with the 5 round. It was 16.
Okay. So 16. right, as you unload into Marlene, you see the creature that was Marlene just kind of, looking like they're damaged a little bit. You can see that they don't really have blood left, but you can see there's water and viscera coming out of them as they're starting to try to recover from this. From after that, who had 11?
That was Cornwall.
Cornwall. Okay, go ahead, Cornwall.
Now, is this like Call of Cthulhu where I can do 3 shots with my pistol?
No, you do 1.
Just 1? Yep. Okay. 65, so I miss.
Okay, so you shoot wide and maybe it bounces off of a tree or something like that. Do you want to move or anything?
Yeah, I definitely think that I would go and I would start to, like Chris was closer to everything than I was, so I would go to Chris after they're bandaged up, like grab underneath their arms and try to pull them back a bit.
Okay. So you two are helping Chris out here after you try and fire her. That's fine. Go ahead, and now let's see. Let's go with Lorelei, please.
Okay, so haven't done much in Delta Green, so I don't know what would work. But I would like to use my occult skill to remember stupid random spells that people say aren't true, but I want to try and see if they're true.
Sure. Go ahead and roll me the occult since it's a stressful situation.
Yes.
That's a 73.
All right. So with a 73, the only thing you really can get out of this or suss out of this is that the others, they need corpses. These things jump to corpses. That is what you can remember. There's not a spell or anything else. These are other beings from other dimensions. That's as far as you know, but you do know that they are often put into bodies. And that's when this starts to piece together. You're like, wait a minute. Clyde obviously loved his family, obviously loved Marlene. When Marlene died, this is starting to make more sense now as you're remembering the video and everything else like that. His sorrow and everything else was because he tried to bring Marlene back. He interacted with these others. He thought they were the Voidwalkers originally, and they weren't. He knew that there was a way because he saw those people come back. He saw how similar they were, or how similar he assumed they were. But it wasn't Marlene.
Hey, this is fine. Is there like anything on the ground I can think of? I'm next, I'm guessing.
Oh, yeah.
I guess I'm gonna try and like pick up like a stick that I can use as like thinking of how like the body works. Like if I can hold it out in front of me and like lock my arms, I may be able to keep it out of arm's reach type of a thing.
Sure, you find something to defend or like set up a little perimeter or defense for yourself. That's fine. All right. So, is there anything else you want to do?
I don't really attack people. I do spells. I do magic. This isn't it. I guess I'm just gonna try and do a distraction.
All right, sounds good. So you're over there, and you got your stick out in front of you. You might be trying to get Marlene's attention, and you can see Marlene's, well, what used to be Marlene's dead eyes look over at you slowly. The neck is turning in a way that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense as far as human anatomy goes.
I guess the biggest thing is, one of my motivations is to provide courage in a time of crisis.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have spells, really. It's nothing on the sheet, but there's a cult, so I didn't know.
Yeah, occult is mostly like investigation and things like that. Spells usually just rack out your sanity.
Great. It's a one-shot. But no.
Yeah.
I guess I'm just trying to help them feel less scared, because this isn't my first time. So I'm trying to err of, like, we can handle this, even though I really don't think we can handle this.
Sure. I mean, you do know fire works, and you do see that it's on fire, so maybe you're just, like, egging everybody on, like, keep firing, keep firing.
Yep.
All right.
Moral support.
I mean, you would be surprised how well that works in this scenario. All right. Chris, you are up. What do you want to do now that you've been patched up? I don't even know if you have a weapon.
Chris has 0 weapons. But
cool. What do you want to do?
Being their first mission, being morally supported and being duct taped on the chest, Chris will dive at this target's leg and attempt to pin them. Attempt to immobilize them, basically, with unarmed combat.
All right, yeah, go for it.
Nice. Okay, so I rolled a 12. So what you see is in a very, like, not what Chris looks like. They don't look like they've ever been trained in any kind of combat situation whatsoever, not carrying a weapon. Chris, even after taking this hit, falls back a little, gets pulled back by Cornwell, a little patched up, and then with the doctor's words in the back of their mind, just dives at this thing's legs and grabs grabs around both of the ankles in a successful attempt to pin it. Whatever happens with that is up to the handler, but
sure, we'll say you can go ahead and, for the purpose of expediency, we'll say you can grapple it. You grab into Marlene's thing's legs, and she looks down at you. She's obviously can't move now as you're holding on to her ankles. She is really, really strong. So, but you can feel her trying to pull against your grip. All right, and now she's gonna go. She's gonna strike at Chris again, since Chris is holding onto her legs.
Okay. I have
a stick.
Can't draw. You can't dodge.
I get to either parry or block.
You can try to block.
What is that with? Unarmed again, or?
Yeah, go ahead and give me an opposed unarmed roll. That's fine.
43.
Okay. Marlene rolled lower than you. Alright. So here goes Marlene's strike at you. You're at what, 5 HP?
Heck yeah.
Take 3.
Oof.
So Marlene strikes down into you and slashes at your back, and you can feel this deep gouge as she goes and rakes across your back.
Chris is like, shoot it! And you hear, like, Chris's life beginning to fade out.
So Marlene also, after she rakes across your back, everybody can kind of see the bullet holes that were in her earlier start to close.
Gasoline and fire, please.
All right, Kamarov, go ahead.
So somebody is like super injured now?
Chris is very injured, but Chris is also holding on to Marlene's legs.
I will pour gasoline on Marlene's head.
So you're just like dousing Marlene with more gas?
Oh, is she already covered in gas?
She's already on fire. She's not like a blaze, but she is on fire.
Then yes. If
Okay.
she's already...
Go ahead and give me a roll.
Cool.
We're going to see if you hit Chris.
No.
Oh, no.
Chris, I'm so sorry.
Rip.
I rolled a 70.
Oh, no.
All right. So, Chris, go ahead and give me a luck roll as well.
Can you please succeed? Because my dice hate me. And evidently you right now.
How about a 78? That sounds like a failure.
All right.
Oh fuck!
That's not what I asked you to do, Chris.
I'm just reading the dice.
Kamarov is throwing the gasoline on top of Marlene, who is now further catching on fire. But some of that also goes down to Chris. Chris, you take a point of fire damage as you're not covered, but there is some on you, and it's starting to burn your back where you were just struck.
Yowchi. Chris's wounds sear up. They give another life leaving them scream, and they're at 1 hit point.
Sorry.
All right, McMurdy, do it.
He's gonna walk up, because he's only probably a few steps away from him, and he's just gonna walk up and put the MP5 to the base of Martha's neck, and then he's gonna do the 10-round clip, or 10 rounds, because he's still got 20 rounds in his clip.
Sure. So go ahead and roll me your hit first.
38.
So McMurdy, as you unload the rest of your clip into Marlene, do you say anything cool?
Yeah, he just looks at her and he's just like, I know this may not have been your fault, but I'm going to send you on to the next spot.
All right. So you unload the rest of your clip into her and rake it across her spine as you see this creature start to buckle and fall and then lay down on the ground.
I'm going to, at the last moment, I'm going to grab her and make sure she don't fall on top of Chris.
Okay. You want to push her out of the way or something, or?
Yeah, I'm going to tilt her to the side. As she's going down, I'm just going to push her real quick.
So Marlene hits the ground. The weird thing is that Marlene is still screaming. Now, Marlene's not moving. And as we'll say, for intensive purposes, you put out the fire on Chris, and Marlene is still burning. And it's been about 2 minutes of this screaming. And then you start to hear this high-pitched noise. And then those of you that are looking over see something come out of Marlene's mouth. It's not a physical thing. It's almost like the look of when you open up the oven and you're looking down at the floor and the air just looks like it's getting warbled or wrong. You see this thing coming out of Marlene's mouth, and as it goes up, it stays there for a moment, and then it continues to go up and disappears out of sight. At this point, Marlene's corpse stops screaming, and you just watch as she burns.
Okay, I can't keep watching her scream. I'm running her over with the car. I'm sorry. I can't handle it as a
By the time you get back, she's done screaming.
Yeah, she's no longer screaming after did you go to get the car after? Like after that couple of minutes of her just screaming?
Yeah.
Oh, like after 30 seconds, it was like, I'm getting the fucking car.
Sure, alright. Alright, so you drive the car up as you see that thing happen too. Are you still going to run her over?
Yes.
Alright, cool.
She's suffering.
You run over her smoldering corpse as it continues to stay on fire. But, you back over it a few times. And now, everybody, what do you choose to do?
I vote burn the rest of the paperwork and the journal and the VHS with the rest of the gasoline, like making a little bonfire.
So the inside of the septic is on fire, by the way, because you poured most of the gas into it.
Oh, well, then I'll just pour it all in there.
Well, the internal.
Yeah, that I'll point to that and throw it in there.
All right, I'll throw the VHS and the journal into that, and we should probably bury her so it looks like it was a grave intended for this area.
If you want to.
Or we can put her in the thing and they'll eventually find her, but the body's going to be found eventually.
Honestly,
I mean, can we burn her till she's ashes? I think we just need,
I don't know if we have a hot enough furnace for that.
She's been dead for 8 years. I think we just need to ensure that nobody finds it, whether it's a grave or the ocean or whatever.
So out of character, the water that was in the septic tank was only a few inches. It is ablaze in there because you've put 15 things of gasoline in it. At present, it should be hot enough. However, you have a limited window of time.
As soon as you guys mentioned putting her body in there to get rid of it, McMurdy would lean down and you'd see this gentleness that you hadn't seen from him before. And he'd kind of lean down and scoop the body up and kind of reverently take it over there and dump it in there. As reverently as you can dump a body in.
All right. So
I think after getting those last words out about trying to burn the body or make sure no one else sees it, Chris likely passes out.
Okay. I mean, you're down to what, 1 HP?
Yeah, I'm stuck at 1 HP right now.
So because you were seeking medical attention, I will say that you were able to retain consciousness during because of the adrenaline. But at this point, now that it's faded away, we'll say you're at 2 because of the medical attention, but you are unconscious.
I will be like, oh shit, right, doctor stuff. Start to patch them up as they're unconscious on the ground.
That works? Yeah, because in Delta Green, if you reach 0, you die. That's all right, so the rest of you, are we voting throw everything in there?
Lorelai had a pamphlet paper, and she puts it in her bag and gets out a different file that looks very similar, and she'll hand it to the others.
Okay,
yeah. McMurdy's just throwing whatever they bring out to him to throw in or whatever they tell him to throw in. He's like, we need to finish this up and get out of here.
So, is that everything, guys?
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to do before you leave?
I think the last thing that I would do is I think I would wait to until Chris is back in the land of consciousness.
Sure.
Just because they're so new to this, and I would say, just back when they're back in the land of living, I'd say, "You did good, kid," and then he would just walk away.
Sure.
He waited there just to say that one thing and then walked away.
Sure. So we'll say Chris is in the back seat of the car, so that's fine. So Chris, you get that. Are we heading back to Chicago?
Yes, please.
Yep.
Yeah.
Are we burning the cabin?
No.
Okay. So you all head back towards Chicago. Obviously, you have some things to process. So during your drive, you might have your windows down, getting the cool fall air through Wisconsin and back through Illinois as you start to head back into the city, and the smell of the fresh air leaves for the smell of exhaust, and you start to see the lights of the twinkling building, and We'll say that the control officer is there.
We probably texted him on the way.
That's fine. So you text the control officer on the way, you arrive, and you go back into the conference room. The control officer is sitting there, and he says, "Is it done?"
Yes.
Yes.
Is there anything left?
Ashes.
Just the cabin.
When he says that, Chris finally, like, having the drive to come to, kind of looks up, and they look up and they look at everyone and say, Did we get the Vietnam chest with all the paper?"
I said I grabbed
Yep.
everything from the closet, didn't I?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys had said you brought everything
Mhm.
out to bring.
Yeah, they didn't know that, so, like, hearing that, you see a, like...
I just
an
wanted to
almost-
make sure that I did.
No, for sure. You see an almost look of...
Yeah, we
Yeah.
burned everything to ash. There is a giant septic tank that has the ash remains, if that means anything to you, but everything is burnt.
Okay. Thank you. As the controller starts to put his things away. You did well. We'll be in touch. As he leaves the room.
Do we get paid for this?
He doesn't answer you.
Oh, that's fucking rude. Also, how do I file a complaint?
Do you want to?
Not with you, because you're an asshole, but with somebody else.
No, that guy's gone. I'm just
Damn it.
asking it out of character. No, the controllers don't typically stick around. They're not like, let's small talk. It's mostly just, is the job done? Because they have
Makes sense.
they need to move on to.
When he gets to the car, he just gets a text message.
Sure.
It was another, by the way, fuck you.
You get a reply back. This number has been disconnected by Verizon.
God damn it. Fuck
Can
that
you hear
guy.
me now?
Nope.
All right, everybody. So if this wasn't a one-shot, we would then go on to talk about the vignettes between you and your families and the deterioration, as well as your attempted recovery. Oh, by the way, you would all, on your trip home, since you completed it, you would have gained 1d8 sanity back.
Woo.
We didn't really do that, though, because, again, we're not continuing. But yes, that was Delta Green.
I gained one back.
That was so much
I
fun.
lost two. I gained one.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, and thank you, everybody, for
Thank
playing.
you for running it.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Yeah.
running a great game.
Thank
Yeah.
you. And thank you, Nikki, for
It was a
inviting me on.
blast.
No problem. It was fun. So Alex, where can everybody find you?
You can, if you want to find me, you can find me on most social media outlets. It's at Alex the DM89. That's at ALEXTHEDM89. At the present time, that's the only place you can find me, but I am active on Twitter and Instagram.
Farrod.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitch at Farrod World Builder. It's PHERRID if you don't know how to spell Farrod. But I guess where I'm most active is in my Discord. That's, the big community for me. You can find that through my Twitch. And I hope to see people around. Thank you.
Insanity.
Hello, I'm Insanity Plea. You can find me anywhere you find it spelled INSANITYPLEE. I'm a variety streamer on Twitch, and I'm part of Farrod's Discord as well, so come hang out.
Waffles.
I'm Waffles. I'm the GM for Waffles Maple Syrup. We run a lot of different kind of campaigns on Twitch. You can find us twitch.tv/Waffles Maple Syrup. We're currently in a hiatus there, but we'll be variety streaming, and you can find us at Instagram at WMSPod or on Twitter at Waffles Maple.
And finally, last but not least, Mary.
Hey everybody, but you can find me on my Twitter and Instagram at NerdOnWheels15. And you can catch me most of the time on the GM Cable Twitch channel, where we talk all things TTRPG and performance, because we are a for performers by performers channel.
Fantastic. And everybody who's listening, you know where to find us on our podcast, but you can come and interact with me on Twitter at BeholderToNoOne, or you can find out more information on our website at beholdertonoone.com. Thanks everybody for joining me today. I appreciate it, and it was a blast.
Yes, thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.